Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. I think everyone that registered for today is here with us right now, so I'm not going to wait for anybody else to join. So today is the fourth and the last part of the Passport to Fishing workshop. And we are doing today about fishing regulations and information. So we spent the last couple of weeks learning all the hands-on stuff about fishing. But today we're going to learn some of the information that you guys need to know before you go fishing to make sure you're doing it in the right place and following the rules that there are. So I am going to turn it over to Grace, who is going to teach you guys this stuff today. And then after she's done, I will talk a little bit more about the fishing pole pickup later on today. And then you guys are free to enjoy your beautiful weekend.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen? Yes, yes.
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. So today we are talking about some very fun stuff, rules and regulations, two of my favorite things in the entire world, in regards to fishing, which is a thing in the entire world. So here we have a fun map of Ohio. Does anybody know where they are vaguely in terms of rivers? So if anybody wants to volunteer to speak, feel free.
I know I'm right next to the Hocking River.
Cool.
And I'm by the Hocking right now.
Awesome. I am near the Tuscarawas River right over here. It's very cool to be able to see all of these fun things. Now, where can you fish, right? Obviously, there are lots of rivers and lakes and etc. But sometimes maps are not the clearest. For example, Google Maps can be really great for navigation and a lot less great for things like fishing. So ODNR has this really cool map, and we're gonna go there now. Wee. So this map shows you a lot of different things. ODNR has a lot of really, really cool maps that tell you a lot about Ohio. This is just one of them. But I am located in Tuscarawas County, so we're gonna go there first. And so you can see in blue the lakes. A lot of these lakes are, they were dammed up, and that's why they're like this. And that's why sometimes they have the harmful algae blooms that you gotta watch out for. But as you zoom in, you can see more and more about these lakes. They get clearer and you get little icons on them, right? And so with these icons, you can click on them and it will tell you some fun things. Like fish attractors and what lake are you in? And continuing with what lake are you in? And you can click on the anchor to see more about what lake you're in. But this tells you, it's some really cool stuff just about, you can see the fish, and just really get more information on wherever you want to go. And like you can kind of see where the roads are, so you know like how to get there. Oh, look, you can see a little boat here. So this is like a boat launch. Let's see if it'll tell you that it's a boat launch. I might be clicking on the wrong thing. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. But you can see like boat launch, fish, anchor, that type of really cool stuff. And Kylie will attach this in everything that gets sent out.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, what is a fishing license, right? So this is a little bit of information. If you go to ODNR, and Kylie will send out this link, it's like all of the rules and regulations written out. So if you're a youth, if you're under 16, you don't need a fishing license. If you're over 16, I think traditionally people get like a 1-year license, but you can get a lifetime license if you know you have that kind of cash on you. But it's really just to confirm like that you know that you understand like what you're doing and that you're not going to like violate the law. And it also helps pay for a lot of the different things, like the money that you pay in these licenses and the money that you pay for like fishing gear. A portion of that goes to basically fund the program that ensures that you can fish and you can enjoy the outdoors and so on and so forth. And so how do you get the license? You go to ODNR, licenses and permits, and then you click licenses and permits. And then you basically say, yes. If you're renewing your license or something, you go to existing customers and you enter in either your license number, your social security, or something else. I don't have one, so I can't do that. I can't show you what it looks like. But as a first-time customer, you click there, and then you're shown this screen, and it continues on and on and on, and you enter in all this information. It's a little bit like a driver's license in that, except you don't need to take a driving test. And then you get your license. Again, I don't have a fishing license, so I can't show you what it looks like, but this is that. Now, where are you gonna find the rules in Ohio? This fun little booklet, which we will give you access to digitally, it's on the ODNR website. It basically shows, it runs for a year, but it shows you all of the rules and regulations, and it's where I got the first slide from about how old you need to be, what types of licenses you have. Now, there are many different places where you can get a life jacket. Life jackets, if you are under the age of 10 and you are in a boat larger than 18 feet, you are required by law in Ohio, or smaller than 18 feet, you are required by law in Ohio to wear a life jacket. However, it is recommended that you wear one anyways. Just, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. Mm-hmm. And so their life jackets can cost money, either if you want to buy or rent them. But there is a really cool program where you can basically, any of these sites, you can go and they will basically loan you a free life jacket for the day. So this is just like generally in the vicinity of Ohio. Obviously, a lot more of them are in greater proximity to larger lakes and rivers and larger population centers. So if you wanted to like go up to Lake Erie for the day, there's a lot of different spots there, some spots in Youngstown. This looks like Newark. Charleston is by the Ohio River, I believe. Some places in Pittsburgh. But this isn't like the only place you can get a life jacket. If you go to like any sporting goods store or fishing store or any boat rental place, they'll probably have it. You just won't be able to get it for free. So now we're going to move on to discussing some fish in Ohio. These are just a couple different types of fish. There are more, and ODNR has a lot of information on the website about them. There's this little packet, which is available digitally, that goes, it goes a lot farther in depth with like species and drawings and diagrams, habitat, size, etc. But we're just gonna look at a couple of these. So this is the bluegill. As you can see, it looks like a fish. It's a little bit shorter and more stout, but it is normally 6 to 10 inches. I know at the nature center near me, the Norman Johnson Center, there are some bluegill in the pond for our fishing event. This is an illustration of what it looks like. Obviously, each one will look different. And you can see its Latin name here, Lepomis macrochurus. Next up, we have the catfish. And this is, like I said, the ODNR booklet goes a lot more in depth on a lot of these things. So like they have the channel catfish, for example. And the channel catfish is what I believe to be a popular type of fish in Ohio, based on what I've learned. You can see that it's a lot longer, and one of its identifying features is its little whiskers, like a cat. That's at least how I know to identify it by. And you can see in size, most range from 12 to 14 inches, and it can reach 10 pounds or more, especially in larger river systems and productive lakes. The food is nice, and the fishing tips are nice because if you're looking to try to catch one of these, you know, just like humans, each fish has its favorite type of food, something that it's going to be more attracted to rather than less attracted to. Mm-hmm. So next up, we have the walleye. And the walleye is a lot longer than the bluegill in terms of ratio of height to length. But it also has these two little fins up top that make it distinct from the bluegill, which really just has like one. And you can see that it's larger than the catfish, longer than the catfish, but not necessarily as heavy. And you can see that it's in the perch family. Now we're gonna play a fun little game with what we've just learned. We are going to identify these fish. So, does anybody know what type of fish this is? Feel free to speak up. Yes, Kylie.
Does anybody else want to answer before I try?
It looks like a flathead catfish. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a catfish.
Yes, good job, guys.
Next up, what is this fish? It's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody interested in answering?
I heard bluegill.
That is correct.
Yes.
Oh, we have a chat.
Yeah.
Rufus is getting these all correct. Congratulations, Rufus. Next up, we have this guy. Any idea on what this could be? I'll give you a hint. It's the one we haven't covered yet. And Rufus has it correct again. It's the walleye.
Wow.
Now, there are a couple other things that are good to remember in terms of fishing. Sometimes you have areas where you want to go fish where you have to cross some private property, or where you go is not necessarily like the most straightforward. It's always, there are some really good best practice tips that you want to use. And one is just respect whatever property you're on. So if you have some snacks, don't litter them on the ground. If you're going through like a neighborhood of sorts, be sure to stay quiet and respect other people's space. And leave the gates as you found them. Just, you never know when there are creatures that are, supposed to be kept on one side or the other. And the ODNR stuff, this little packet, as well as the, which is also available online, will tell you, and other online rules tell you, like, is your fish legal? And, because there are certain rules, like in Lake Erie, there are certain rules, maximums on like how many fish you can take out. I know at the Norma Johnson Center, which is where I work sometimes, we have a catch and release policy, and that's, I like to think of that as a best practice, unless, you're fishing for food. But if you're just fishing for fun to see what you can get, catch and release is nice, because then you can let the fish go, let somebody else catch it if they want to, or just let the fish live their life, which is always, a really nice thing to do. Mm-hmm. The last thing that I kind of want to cover is just fishing in the age of COVID-19. I know you've probably come to hate that word, not fishing, but COVID-19. And, but it is something that we want to keep taking into consideration. If you're in a place with other people, wear a mask. If both parties wear a mask, then the chance of like passing the virus on is 1.5% versus, even if only you are wearing the mask and someone else has it, the chance of you getting it is 70% as opposed to like 100%. So masks can really, really help, and I highly recommend them. And just as you do with that, try to stay 6 feet away from like the people that you didn't come with. Just like if you're fishing in a big lake or whatever, and there's a lot of other fishers there, just, keep your distance outside of other people that you live with, just as a best practice. And then you want to try, like, don't share poles with people outside of your household, or like if you absolutely have to, be sure to like sanitize them and sanitize your hands. You never can be too careful, just because there's a lot of stuff we don't know about the virus. And lastly, you want to wash your hands or use hand sanitizer when you leave, as well as when you get home. Just, it's a general best practice with fishing in general, because fish are like fish. And you never know what's in the water, especially if it's a lake and you don't know like what kind of algae is in it or whatnot. So that's just kind of, those are kind of some best practices that we have. And, with fishing, the more frequently you do it, the more familiar you are with the regulations, the easier it is. And as we culminate with this event, we went over licenses because you should have a license to fish in Ohio. But this weekend is actually the free fishing weekend, which means that you don't need a license, and you can just give it a go if it's your first time and you want to see before you like put in the money to get the license, or your parent does, or whatever. Yeah. I believe that's everything on my end. Kylie, I can hand it over to you now for additional information.
Awesome. So I am going to really quickly just mention some things about the fishing pole pickup that's here this afternoon. So if you guys are planning on picking up a fishing pole after this is over, I will have them all set out by 2 p.m. So if you show up before that, it might not be ready. And I just wanted to say that I will be wearing a mask and gloves, and we'll be disinfecting things as I'm setting them out, so you don't have to worry about germs or anything. And I also will ask you guys to please, if you come to pick up a fishing pole and there is someone else here picking one up, just wait until they grab theirs and go back to their car before you grab yours, so that we can just keep people from being too close to each other and make sure everybody stays safe. And I want to say thank you to everyone for participating and showing up every Saturday. I know it's sometimes difficult to jump on Zoom on a weekend, but we were hoping just to get everybody outside a little more once you get your free fishing stuff. So yeah, thank you for coming, and thank you for watching all the videos, and